YTBC, what's the deal? So I want to make this video Monday morning. Didn't want to be a prisoner of the moment, although I did do a post-fight video about Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Let me just have a quick discussion with you guys about what I see with Anthony Joshua, okay? We've heard guys, respected analysts like Al Bernstein go on record and say that Anthony Joshua is the best. I believe he said either prospect or just heavyweight in the last 30 years, either or. So we're talking 1985, like I said before. You're talking Holmes at the end of his reign, Michael Spinks, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Razor Ruddock, Riddick Bowe, Frank Bruno. The list goes on and on. The Klitschko brothers. It goes on and on. Chris Bird. So I'm listening to that. I'm like, okay, well, and I've watched all of Joshua fights. They're all on YouTube. They're easy to access. There's nothing that's hidden. I watched some Olympic footage. I watched the Dillian Whyte amateur fight. He performed well this weekend against Whyte. And I've watched a lot of boxing, man. A lot, and especially a lot of heavyweight boxing in my life. I think Al Bernstein is out of his goddamn mind. I like Anthony Joshua, and please, you don't have to leave me his statistics. I know he won a gold medal. I know everything about the young man there is to know. I don't see Lennox Lewis. I don't see Evander Holyfield. I don't see Mike Tyson. I see a young man who is physically very strong, who physically damn sure looks the part. If you want to say he's the most hulked up and muscular, big fucking heavyweight that we've seen in the last 30 years, you can say that. But I've also seen some hulked up big guys. Who's to say Anthony Joshua is better than Ike Beabuche? Are we sure he was better than what we've seen of Ike Beabuche? I mean, again, Beabuche's career was cut short. We know that. And all this is just opinion, but I don't see the best heavyweight I've seen in 30 years. He's not fluid at all. He's very upright. His hand speed is okay. It's not very fast. It's not eye-popping fast. It's not Larry Holmes fast. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me, dude? Larry Holmes could land his jab with his jab hand on his hip and get it up and pop you with the jab. That motherfucker was laser sharp. Laser pinpoint, razor sharp. I don't see that with Anthony Joshua. Yes, he's a very hard hitter, but, I mean, don't look like he hit no harder than Mike Tyson. Or Lennox Lewis, or even Big George Foreman on his comeback trail. I'm just being honest. I think he will have a puncher's chance, especially in today's era. Joshua will have a chance. I'm not saying he's not a top 20 heavyweight right now. Of course he is, definitely top 15. Yeah, I will put Joshua right there because of his power, his youth. I think he has a chance. You can't win an Olympic gold medal being completely crude. Although, guys like Ray Mercer, but Ray Mercer had a very good jab, powerful jab. So I'm not saying he's 100% crude, but just no fluidity. I don't know. I don't know if I'm watching David Price, Ali Harrison. Maybe he can get to Frank Bruno's level. We do got to give Bruno credit. He did win a world title, but he's damn sure no Lennox Lewis. There's a photo out from the Dillian Whyte fight of Joshua throwing a jab. And I know it's just a photo and different things happen when you click the camera one time. I understand that. But it was a photo that just caught me off guard, man, and I may use that photo as my thumbnail for this video, but the photo was on boxingscene.com. They had a mega gallery from the Whyte versus Joshua fight. So I was clicking on it, just looking at the photos. And I seen one photo where Joshua, you can see both of his feet are off the canvas and he's throwing a jab. It's just, and I know it's just a split hair of a second, but that's all it takes in the heavyweight division is a split hair of a second for you to get knocked out. Now, I know you guys can go and look up photos of Jack Dempsey and, Jack Johnson and Ali and show me different photos where they were doing something that wasn't technically correct. I understand that, but I'm just saying, I don't see this ultra heavyweight that's going to reign over the division for the next 5 to 10 years. I don't see it. Now, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of heavyweights. I was wrong about Vladimir Klitschko. I was wrong about Samuel Peter because I thought he was going to hold down the division with the power punching. I was wrong about Vladimir because I thought he was not going to last 10 more years. You know, after when I seen him fight Devarl Williamson, I didn't think he was gonna go 10 more years strong, 11 more years strong. I was wrong. I was wrong about Evander Holyfield as a youngster coming up when I was 12, 13 years old, 92, 93. I didn't think Evander was all that great. Thought he was a paper champion because Tyson was in jail. You know, I didn't think he could beat Razor Ruddock back then. I was upset that he wasn't fighting Ruddock. You know, so I've been wrong. I don't know everything there is to know about boxing, but I'm just giving my honest opinion about this, man. I don't see, and I'm not saying because he got buzzed against White. Oh, he got buzzed. I mean, everybody's gonna get clipped and get buzzed a time or two. So no, it's not that. You know, I've seen Ali get dropped by fucking Cooper. You know what I'm saying? So it's not because he got buzzed. It's just that he's just the balance, the fluidity. He's just so upright. To me, he's almost over muscular. I think it hampers his quickness, his hand speed. Um, I just don't see it. And his power, he has good power, but I don't know if he punches harder than everybody in the division. Does he punch harder than Joseph Parker? Does he punch harder than Erkin Tepper? You know, his footwork is mediocre. I think Joseph Parker has better footwork, better speed, looks like the better athlete in the ring. Although Joshua looks very athletic, and there's a difference between looking very athletic and being athletic, and have a lot of balance and good footwork and good posture. There's a difference. Larry Holmes doesn't look anywhere near the athlete that Anthony Joshua does, but his footwork was better. His rhythm was better. His fluidity, his head movement. And I'm not trying to compare the young man. Well, I am trying to compare him to Holmes because I heard Al Bernstein say it's the best heavyweight he's seen in 30 years. So Holmes is a part of that. Doesn't have anywhere near the technique and the ability that Holmes had. He was stronger than Holmes, but Holmes' right hand got to his opponent way faster. Point A to point B. Go watch like the Jerry Cooney fight. Watch how laser sharp that jab is. You know, do I think Joshua has the potential to be better than guys like John Tate and Mike Weaver and Ken Norton, um, Tyrell Biggs, guys like that? Yeah, he has the ability, but you know, a lot of most of the guys I just named, they were gold medals. You know, I still want to see more Anthony Joshua. I'm not fully convinced yet after 15, 16 fights. I'm not fully convinced about this young man. Um, then you know, people compare him to Tyson, and it's like comparing apples and oranges. Although they're in the same division, or they were in the same divisions, at heavyweight, but it's still comparing two different things because you got to understand, Mike was on his run when he was 19 years old. I believe, I don't have everything in front of me, but what did he turn pro in 85? I believe March of 85, and then by what, September of 86, he had already had damn near 30 fights. He was fighting once. No, he was fighting every month, 2 to 4 times a month. He was on a fast track to the heavyweight titles, champion by 20. Anthony Joshua was a grown ass man compared to when Tyson started. About, you know, Josh was what, 26 years old. By the time Tyson was 26, he had been undisputed champion. He had lost the fight. I don't believe Mike was fighting when he was 26. I think the year he stopped fighting before he went to prison, he was 25. So up until he was 25, even though lost to Douglas, but he beat Bruno, beat Razor Ruddock twice. Just those 3 fights right there, Ruddock and Bruno. White hasn't fought anyone near that level. He lost to Douglas, but shit, has Dillian, I mean, not White, but I mean Joshua. Has Joshua fought anybody on the level of Buster Douglas, what Douglas looked like that night? Has he fought a Bone Crusher Smith, a Michael Spinks, a Larry Holmes? Although, you know, I understand where all these guys were in their career when they fought Tyson. But I'm saying Joshua has fought nobody on that level. Has he fought anybody that has a good of a jab as Pinklin Thomas? What about Carl Williams? He had a damn good jab. Ask Larry Holmes. You know, so I'm not trying to downgrade Anthony Joshua. I don't see it. Like I said, I've been wrong about heavyweights before. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All. So if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to come in here and make a video about, man, I was wrong in 4 or 5 years. If this young man is, doesn't matter about keeping your he can have a loss or two in 4 or 5 years. It's how does he respond after getting beat? You know, that, you know, Those are characteristics of a champion. So I'm not one of these guys when he loses, I'm going to say, I told you so. No, because I expect this young man to lose sooner or later. But it's how do you come back? Should some of my favorite fighters of all time all have losses? I've said this many a times. My favorite 5 fighters, Ali, Holmes, Foreman, Holyfield, Tyson, all have losses. Multiple losses. But I like what I see with Anthony Joshua. But I think he's a work in progress, and it's like all that Olympic experience, winning the gold. Although a lot of people I've seen leave comments on his amateur fights or Olympic fights and say that he was given gifts, but nonetheless he won gold. Then he's working with world-class trainers, and he's getting world-class sparring, Klitschko camps. It's like, what more else is there to learn at this stage of your career? Stamina issues is something I think is going to hamper him. Just all that damn muscle mass, man. Like I say, he looks like a heavyweight Jeff Lacey or a Andre Berto. I'm surprised like he doesn't have any like a torn rotator's cuff or something. Like, just have all this fucking muscle mass. And there have been muscle men in the past, I understand that. Ken Norton, but they just didn't look as bulked up as Joshua. So I don't know, man. I see somebody that is way above average, but I don't see greatness here. I don't, and I almost think it's disrespectful to guys like Lennox Lewis and some of the great heavyweights over the last 30 years. Now, this is Al Bernstein's opinion. Some of you may say, well, he's called ringside fights since 78. Who the fuck are you? Okay, fine, that's fine. But I also have eyes too and a knowledge of the game and been watching it for the late 80s, and I don't see this kid being the best heavyweight I've seen in the last 30 years. I think he's very talented. I think he's one of the better prospects. And when I say better, I mean like the top 15, probably. He's probably one of the top 15 heavyweight prospects I've seen in the last 30 years as far as at prospect level. Let's see where he goes from here. But just from what I've seen with this, his latest fight with White and Gary Cornish and Avila and Paul Butland, all those type of guys, Bokhtov, I don't see the best heavyweight I've seen in 30 years. I think he's going to have major stamina issues, and I think people are going to fuck his body up. He better work on grinding on the inside. I think a lot of guys are going to start going to his body and working him on the inside. And if you have faster hands than him and a jab and some mobility, you're going to give him problems. Now, with all those negatives, there are a lot of positives to go on with Anthony Joshua. He has the physical skill set. He has some pedigree, but I don't see what more else is there to learn. I think he needs to just he's in physical peak condition. You can tell by looking at the man, but I just think some of the weightlifting needs to probably die down a little bit and just work on his wind and stamina, man, and just being more fluid. I know he may look very fluid and explosive in sparring, but in training and hitting the mitts, but when I see him in the ring, he looks straight up. He looks calm, and he will use a jab, but he looks lumbering. And you could say, well, shit, George Foreman was lumbering. Yeah, he was, but George Foreman had other intangibles, like a all-time great chin, will, able to fight when he's hurt, take some, come back with some shots, get knocked down, get back up, be in a slugfest, come back after 10 years of retirement. He had different intangibles that made him great, although he was a lumbering guy at times, most of the time. Just my opinion, y'all. YTBC. I'm out.